Hello, this is Claudio from EtherealFX. Today is Saturday, 17th of February 2018. I'm gonna go over, as usual, GBP, USD, and USD CAD. This is USD CAD, the monthly time frame. So I'm gonna review them. I've already done my analysis. So it's Saturday, we're letting the market settle. And we're currently looking at the monthly time frame, as I said. So always you wanna look at the monthly time frame first. Monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, and then decide your bias on the pair, where it's gonna go, your trades and everything. So always the higher time frames are the most reliable. So this is the monthly time frame. We're just looking at the candlesticks. So let's remove the candlesticks. Sorry for that. Let's remove the candlesticks for a second. Looking at the moving averages. The moving averages are close to the downside. So this tells us that we're in a downtrend. Let's go back to the candlesticks. So everything looks messy because of my analysis. So I've plotted on my key levels, monthly resistance, weekly resistance, monthly support, and so on. So we've crossed over the monthly, the moving averages on the monthly time frame. So we crossed over big wick. This is Marbozu. Big wick crossing through, meaning the bears are strong. Next wick, tested this monthly support that it just crossed as a new resistance, and it switched down to the next monthly support, which it tested, and it couldn't get past it. So when it went back up to the moving averages, which it needed to retrace at some moment. Remember, the markets always are kind of magnetized to the moving averages. So if the candles are too far away from the moving averages, they tend to come back closer at some point. So the candlesticks were really far, as here, were really far from the moving averages, so they switched back down to them. Okay, so this is kind of a doji, but with a thick body. So it went down, tested this, not really tested, but like tried to break it, and it couldn't. Closed up at the same price. So the market then made new high highs, high lows, tested this on a lower time frames, and then switched back up, skyrocketed to the moving averages and tested them. And the market wanted to see if it can cross back up, and it couldn't. Next month was undecisive, left a big gravestone doji, which represents indecision. Also, it closed in between the moving averages, which means that it couldn't get past them, and even between the moving averages is still a dynamic area of support and resistance. So this currently would be a resistance. Went in between, couldn't get past, and then went back down. Next candlestick. Strong candlestick going back down to the monthly support. And guess what? The next one still went down. And look how accurate it ended at the weekly support of 1.225. Went down, then it went back up. Guess what? To test the moving averages. So remember, downtrend. So this is a downtrend, bearish bias on the moving, on the monthly time frame. So downtrend, tested this 8 EMA, which is blue, and it couldn't close above it, so it closed below. Oh, also remember, this isn't a fully finished month, so we still have a lot of price action to go through. So went back, tested it. So we're currently in the same month. So what do we take away from the monthly time frame? That the price is in a downtrend. It went up. It's currently going up to test the resistance. which is as I plotted this daily red ray, which is a daily lower high, I believe. Daily lower high. Perfectly tested it, as well as the moving average. So it's currently in the testing phase. So let's go down on the weekly. We're just looking at the candlesticks and the moving averages to determine the main trend, the main bias, and the next move for the week ahead. What's gonna happen? So the monthly down is currently in the testing phase of the moving averages. And down to the weekly, this is the weekly time frame. The price went down, weekly support, went back up. So remember, let's go back on the monthly. So this week, this candle closed below, which means there is still potential for this next candle to go back down and back down. It's still in a downtrend, and it can't close above the moving averages. So the next move is obviously down. So we know we're looking for sells on the USD CAD. So back again to the weekly. The price went back up, tested the moving averages again. This last week closed above the 8 EMA, but below the red MA, which means that the market couldn't close above, and it can't make a new high, can't get past this. Also, this was a consolidation area of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks. And it broke it, and now we retested it, and it closed below the moving averages. So we know the next move is going to be down. So we're going to profit from this next move about 250 to 350 pips, around that. So we're looking for the next move downwards to the weekly support. That is why we plotted our key levels: monthly resistance, support, weekly resistance and support. So we know our next target for the week ahead. So we're currently below the moving averages. The week just ended. We're waiting for the next week to see what's gonna happen, because we're in between the moving averages, and I'm expecting a sharp move downwards to finally break through the ATMA, which is the blue one, to break through it and stay down. Let's go over to the daily. So on the daily, we can see the market made a new higher high. This is a consolidation, which consolidations usually mean reversals, but we'll have to look on the bigger time frame for that. So higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This is supposed to be a higher high because the candles closed above this, but we can see why they closed above this last low high, because they wanted to test this new area of resistance. Because you can see here, if I just take this red rectangle, so if you can see here, broke through, and it did not retest it. So at some point it had to come back to retest it, and it did. Indeed retested it a few days ago. So we tested this as a resistance, so we can finally break through and go lower, now that the price has retested the resistance. So we retested it, now it's going back and forth to create an ascending triangle, which will be made of this resistance and this thick line, which is the counter trend line. So if the market fully breaks this counter trend line, we can go for a short to the weekly support. of 1.225. Sorry, let's go back on the daily. So let's see if we have any Fibonacci move in play. Let's go. We're just playing around with the Fibonacci, so let's just see. A, B, C, didn't quite hit the D. Also this is the daily, quite a bit big time frame to use the Fibonacci. So for our strategy, so hit the resistance, came back, is gonna go through like this until it's gonna hit this trend line, which if we look on the weekly, there's a big trend line going down. So it's gonna hit it and then go lower to potentially create new lower lows past this level. Then we're gonna have to see if it's gonna break the weekly support and maybe go to the monthly support. So back to the daily. Gonna wait for the price to rally up. I noted here, we're awaiting the candlesticks to break MA downwards. So this candlestick is the daily, on the daily time frame, daily candlestick. So it closed above the moving averages. That means that the price is still gonna rally upwards. I do not believe that it's gonna make a new high above this point, but we're just gonna have to see. It doesn't matter anyway, because we're still gonna have to break this counter trend line and go low, create lower lows. So the price will go up. We're gonna have to wait for a break through both moving averages, a full break. So like, let me show you an example, like this one over here, a full break through both of them, for us to continue down like this one did. So what's happening is something like this now, and we're waiting for a full break before going low to make a new low. So let's go on the 4-hour. Basically it's gonna happen the same thing on the 4-hour, waiting for a break through this and a new lower low. So that's USD CAD for next week. We're just waiting for the triangle to form like this, and then a breakthrough. So GBP USD. GBP, let's delete this for a second. GBP USD monthly time frame. Huge annotations I got here. So kind of messy key levels. Very huge key levels I got here. So what can we take away from the monthly? We've broken through both moving averages upwards, made a new high, low, we're coming back, test the moving averages. So we're still in that week of going back and testing them. And if we go down to the weekly, this is the weekly, you can see that the candlesticks went down, tested the moving averages, the 8 EMA, and then did not close below, which means we still have potential of going up. But they just remind ourselves that we're at a monthly resistance, which usually means the monthly resistances, you have to be careful because they can give reversals. But also if we look back on the monthly, which is this time frame, this huge bullish move broke through the monthly and closed above it, closed above the monthly resistance. So we can safely say that we're expecting more bullish potential. So back to the weekly, tested this 8 EMA. Now we're waiting for this this price action. We go back to the daily, go down. We're waiting for the price action to break this thick counter trend line before potentially making new higher highs to 1.45. I believe 1.45 is the new target if we get to break this counter trend line on the daily. So I plotted my daily highs, daily lows. We're in a symmetrical triangle, so this trend line, the thin one and the thick one, we're just in between rallying, and then it's gonna pop up to this 1.45. Currently on the daily we're above the moving averages, so let's just go back and remind ourselves we're above the moving averages on the monthly, above the moving averages on the weekly, just broke above the moving averages on the daily. We could have milked this move upwards where it broke through. So now we're looking for the price to go just a little bit down. Let's go back on the 4-hour. The 4-hour, we're just in between the moving averages. So we're looking for the price to just delete this for a second. Looking for the price to go back down, retest this red line as a new support, retest it, and create a new counter trend line so we can get past it, and then finally break this thicker counter trend line to go back to this level, 1.425, and when it breaks that, we're gonna be looking for new highs to 1.45. That's my review for next week. Hope you've enjoyed, and thank you.